We continue with our laws of Shabbos class. Today, class number 9. We start with Chafetz Chaim lesson a day. We're on page 62. So the big subject that we are in the laws of derogatory speech, and today's title is matters of taste. It would seem that there is nothing derogatory about the statement of taste. To say I don't like dry wine is a description of the speaker's preference and not the critical evaluation of the wine. Right? Ostensibly, one should be allowed to say that he does not like oratory style or a given lecture. In fact, however, such a statement are generally prohibited, for they imply that the speaker lacks effectiveness. So I think the lesson is very straightforward. So even I would say even about food, it depends like in where exactly you say that you don't like the wine. If maybe you can offend the host with your comment just because of course you're not implying that he made this wine, he bought this wine or somebody gave it to him, but so you got to be very careful. So and of course there is matter of taste in the speakers, so okay, just basically keep it to yourself, unless the speakers is like speaks again against the Torah values and stuff like that, so you're not allowed to criticize the speaker or just state your opinion. Okay, so let's see. One second. So in my book it's chapter 12. Last time we started this chapter 12, and title was exempting others from a kiddush. And we said if a person, just a little summary because we are like on the number 3, in a part 1, number 3. So what we said last time, that that one person can include another person in his kiddush, and the two conditions must be met. The one who is wants to be included in a kiddush has to have this intention to be included, and the one who is saying kiddush, he has to have this intention to include this listener. Right? What else do we say? And we said that the person should not, of course, the one who wants to be included in somebody else's kiddush should not talk during the recitation of the kiddush. If he speaks in the last part of the kiddush, and just to remind us, we're talking about Friday night's kiddush. If he speaks in the third portion of the kiddush where it says Asher Kiddushonu, right? So if he did not miss any word, so he's not obligated to repeat kiddush. And if he spoke during the blessing Borei Pricha Geffen, blessing on the wine, so he's not allowed to repeat to drink the wine, but he must say the blessing by himself. When he gets this wine here, so he says the blessing by himself. All others can rely on a blessing that they heard directly from the reciter of the kiddush. Okay, so it was number 1, number 2, and we start with number 3. So it says one who already made kiddush or wine may repeat it to exempt others who cannot do themselves. This ruling is based on a principle: all Jews are responsible for each other. Okay. The person may recite the Borei Pricha Geffen even if he does not wish to drink the wine himself. Okay, so let's stop here. Let's try to understand what it says here. So first of all, for example, if I made already my kiddush, and Maybe I even finished my meal, or I did not finish my meal, doesn't make any difference. So for example, a simple example, if I have a guest, right? So he came, let's say, 1 hour later that he was supposed to come, and now he does not know how to make Kiddush. So I can make the Kiddush for him, even though I fulfill my obligation, and I can even say blessing on the wine, and he can drink the wine, or he can say the blessing on the wine, right? So, but him. But if I say so, okay, so continue. If person recite Barepricha Geffen, even if he does not wish to drink the wine himself, okay, that's what we said. In this case, the listener must not recite his own Barepricha Geffen, but must be exempt, must exempt himself with a recital bracha. So basically, only one person can say Barepricha Geffen. Two people cannot say. So the most preferable way, since Barepricha Geffen is like in the middle of the Kiddush, so I say Barepricha Geffen as a part of my Kiddush, right? And then he just drinks. So I would say it would make sense for me before starting the Kiddush, just remind him that he's going to use my Barepricha Geffen and not his own. Okay. Continue. So number 4, one may make Kiddush for others who cannot do so themselves, even if one does not intend to fulfill his own obligation at that time. For example, he plans to dine elsewhere. In this case, he is not permitted to drink the wine, but recite Barepricha Geffen merely to exempt the listener. Consequently, the listener must drink the wine. Listener who must drink the wine must take care not to recite his own Barepricha Geffen. So the situation before that we discussed in number 3 was that I already fulfilled my obligation, and I can and I can say the Kiddush for others. In this number 4, it was number 3. In number 4 we say, so I did not fulfill my obligation yet, and I'm planning to say Kiddush somewhere else. Right, somewhere else. So in this case, I can say the Kiddush for them, right, and make sure that I do not drink, because we're not, as we learned before, we're not allowed to eat or drink before we recited the Friday night Kiddush. Okay, so but in a case where I'm making the Kiddush for others, so basically, if I want, I can drink. In a case that when I fulfill my obligation, I say blessing. For example, nobody can drink for whatever reason, some medical reasons. They cannot drink. Elderly person, he has diabetes, whatever the case is, so I can drink, that's wine, no problem. It was for a previous case. In this case, since I'm not allowed to drink, I must give it to somebody else. Situation number 5. The laws concerning exempting someone else from Kiddush, when the reciter does not wish to exempt himself, also apply to one who makes Kiddush over the bread. In this case, when he makes the Kiddush, he says blessing Hamotzi. He should not wash or say bracha al nitalas yadayim. So as we're going to learn today or next time, so if a person does not have wine, he can do a Kiddush over the bread. Okay, so if I want to do this Kiddush over the bread for somebody else, not for myself, so I don't wash my hands. I don't wash my hands because I have no intention to eat this bread, right? But I can say Hamotzi. So instead of Barepricha Geffen, I say Hamotzi, and I'm going to cut the bread, and they're going to eat the bread, basically. That's the story. Okay. Next, number 6. One who has not yet accepted Shabbos may nevertheless exempt another person who has accepted Shabbos early, who is unable to recite the Kiddush for himself. This should be only done in case of extreme need. So it's very interesting case, let's say in a summer especially, and somebody wants to accept Shabbos earlier, and we said before that the earliest time that a person can accept Shabbos upon himself is after Plaga Mincha, which is an hour and a quarter before the sunset, of hour and a quarter of seasonal hours. So which is very earlier. But let's say I want to do it later, like close to actual sunset. So there is no problem. So if this person has nobody to say this Kiddush for him, so I can say this Kiddush for him. There is no problem, even though I did not accept Shabbos. So he accepted Shabbos. For me, this recitation of the Kiddush has nothing to do with Shabbos, with my acceptance Shabbos. Okay. So part number 2, and it says the title is The Listener. Number 1, the listener must be silent and attentive to make every effort to hear each word of the entire Kiddush. And we have this discussion yesterday in our Kids Shulchan Aruch class, and we discussed the Megillah, reading that we said that the person must listen to every word, a blessing. Okay. So that's what we said. Okay, number 2, the listener may not speak during the recital of the Kiddush, even if this will not cause him to miss any word. For example, during the pause in the Kiddush. So, as we said, so that's initial requirement. He should not speak, listen to every word. Okay, and if he speaks when the reciter is quiet for whatever reason, right? He's quiet. So as we said before, to listen, that is halacha. It says that the person who listens, it's like he's speaking himself, right? So when, for example, I'm saying the Kiddush and somebody is talking, right? Well, even if I'm silent, he's saying whatever he's saying. So it's like he's saying the Kiddush, right, himself, and he speaks, which is interruption. So now we're going to see if this interruption disqualifies the Kiddush or not. So number 3. If the listener spoke during the Kiddush, the rules are as follows. Okay, so we have several situations. So A, if he spoke during the recital of Vayichalu, and this caused him to miss some words, so Vayichalu, so one more time, we're talking about Friday night Kiddush, so it's the first paragraph. So he spoke during the first paragraph, and of course he missed some words. He has still fulfilled the Kiddush obligation. However, he should repeat Vayichalu on his own during the meal over the cup of wine. So it does not invalidate the Kiddush, this if he spoke anywhere in this first paragraph, but he has to repeat it, right? Because it's like testimony that HaShem created the world in 6 days and stuff like that. So he has to say it again over the cup of wine, okay, during the meal. So of course he already made the. Of course, maybe if he made if he drank the wine from the Kiddush, so he does not need to say different blessing on the wine. If he did not drink the wine from Kiddush and did not drink the wine at all during the meal, so in this case he would need to say the blessing after the wine, after he made it stated by Chalu over the cup of wine, say Barei Pricha Geffen. If he did not say Barei Pricha Geffen and did not drink the wine from Kiddush, and he fulfilled his obligation. Again, next scenario, B. It says if he spoke during Barei Pricha Geffen. So it's a second paragraph when we said blessing on the wine. He need not to repeat Kiddush, but he cannot drink the wine unless he makes the bracha himself. So now, so this guy, I was saying Kiddush, and when I was saying Barei Pricha Geffen, he said whatever he said. That doesn't matter what he said. So he cannot go by my blessing. So he's not covered by my blessing, because it's like he spoke in the middle of the blessing himself. Like he was saying Baruch Geffen, the blessing Baruch Atah HaShem, right? And he said whatever he said during the recitation of the blessing, that makes the blessing invalid, because we have a specific formula of the blessing and they cannot be changed. Okay. So, and then C. Yeah, if he spoke during the recital of the Kiddush, bracha asher kiddushonu. Okay. So now the most serious, of course, is a third blessing, right? I'm sorry, third paragraph, because it has like 2 blessings in there. Okay, so let's see. Asher kiddushonu. So scenario number 1. If this happened during the opening segment of the bracha, Baruch Atah HaShem, Elokeinu Melech Olam, right? Or during the closing segment of the bracha, Baruch Atah HaShem, Mekadesh HaShabos, right? The last line, the first line, or the last line. He must repeat Kiddush, bracha, or hear it again from someone else, even if he did not miss any words. So basically, if he spoke during this opening statement or closing statement, so he must repeat that blessing. Okay, or in another situation when he can hear from somebody else. But I would say it's not so easy unless you have like neighbors, and you can go to somebody and you start the Shabbos earlier. Otherwise, like most likely everybody is making kiddush at approximately the same time. Approximately. Maybe if guy goes to a shul very further from the house, maybe he just came home. Or one of your neighbors, you can go to your neighbor. That's also a solution. Okay, so situation number 2. If it happened during the pause in the middle section of the bracha, and he did not miss any word, he need not to repeat Kiddush. Okay, so the situation in number 2 is, I would say, the easiest. Meaning, he heard the opening statement, the closing statement, and he did not miss any words, so he's after the fact his Kiddush is accepted. Of course, we don't advocate somebody talk during the Kiddush, but we say after the fact. He already did it. Okay. So number 3. Not number 3. Situation number 3 in this third paragraph. So it says if he did cause him to miss words, right? Meaning not like I guess in the middle section, but we're going to see the matter is in doubt, since there are some words whose omission invalidate the Kiddush, and some which don't. Thus, should he should make any effort. He should not make every effort to hear the Kiddush again from someone else who has not yet made the Kiddush. So if he's not sure, if he's sure that he missed some words, right? So so he should hear from someone else. But if this cannot be done, he does not repeat the Kiddush to avoid the possibility of saying bracha in vain. So that's what we learn in our Kitzur class. So we're trying to avoid, since it's a rabbinical mitzvah, and in case of the doubt, we do not repeat it. Okay. So that's just from this you see the severity of person talking during the Kiddush, right? Okay. Continue, number 4. And it says, if 2 families are seated in close proximity, just 1 second. If 2 families are sitting in close proximity and wish to recite Kiddush separately, they should not make Kiddush simultaneously to avoid distracting each other. So basically, if I'm not sure if they related, that they're not related, that doesn't make any difference. For whatever reason, they want to say their own Kiddush, as we said um, in many Ashkenazic, like among many Ashkenazim, there is custom that each head of the family makes his own Kiddush. Okay, so if I'm in somebody's house and I want to make my own Kiddush, so I just I wait till the guy finishes, the head of the family finished, Balabai is finished, and then yeah, I answer Amen, whatever he drinks, whatever he does, and then I say my own Kiddush, and they answer Amen to me. So in this case, the people are not confused. Are they allowed to answer an Amen or not? So that's what it says here. Okay, so but if we see further, for example, if we on Shabbaton or in some hotel, and there is some kind of dining room, and I don't know the people, so I mean, so I'm not obligated to wait until they finish. Number 5, the listener must answer Amen immediately following each bracha. Right, that's the proper way. So after for example, we say Amen, and at the end of the Kiddush we say Amen. It is important to say not to say Amen until a person who makes Kiddush has completed the last words of every entry, and that's it's not such an easy statement, right? Because many people make this mistake during the Shabbos davening, especially in the morning when Chazan sings, and he did not finish whatever his sentence, but people answer Amen. That's the problem. But here with the Kiddush, usually people don't sing until the end, until the Amen. So it's easy, just let him finish and then answer Amen. Because if person answer Amen while a recital did not finish, so it's like he spoke during his recital, and it's going to be an issue. Continue. One should not say Baruch Hu Baruch Shmoi, as we learned yesterday in our Kitzur class, after the words Baruch Atah HaShem. Right. So in many cases we say Baruch Hu Baruch Shmoi, but in this case we don't say, because in this case it's going to be, according to many poskim, it's going to be interruption. As it says, why? Because this may be considered impermissible interruption. Maybe. So not everybody agrees. So, but we're trying to go by stringent opinion and do not say Baruch Hu Baruch Shmoi. If I wanted to be included in this blessing, of course. If one failed to answer Amen, or if he mistakenly said the Baruch Hu Baruch Shmoi and did not miss any words, the Kiddush is valid. So basically, Amen, it's a proper to say Amen. He failed to say Amen. I don't know. He was I don't know why, but a different story. Or he say Baruch Hu Baruch Shmoi. So since there are authorities who say that it's not an interruption, so we can, in case of the need, like after the fact, if he already did it, so we say, okay, no problem. He fulfilled his obligation of Kiddush. Okay. Number 6. One may not speak even after Kiddush has been completed until a person who makes Kiddush or the one of the listeners swallows mlolug maf of wine. So very, very interesting. So he finished the Kiddush, but just because he finished the Kiddush, it does not mean that we can speak. So he has to swallow, as we said, the minimum requirement to fulfill the Kiddush obligation, and mlolug maf. And mlolug maf, we said it's a cheekful. Okay, so continue. Nevertheless, if a person who makes Kiddush, so who is drinking? For example, if I recite Kiddush, drink, or if I'm making Kiddush from somebody else, so somebody else can drink. So it doesn't matter. But everybody else must wait until one was finished. Okay. Nevertheless, if the person who makes Kiddush or a listener mistakenly spoke before the mlolug maf was consumed, also possible, he need not repeat Kiddush. He need not repeat Kiddush. Okay, that's basically it's not appropriate, but drinking of the wine is not making the kiddush invalid, basically. The listener must recite Barei Pri Geffen before drinking wine. So even if somebody spoke before I drank this Mlolog Mav, right, it does not invalidate the kiddush. I mean, a person that does not have to repeat the kiddush, but he has to, if he wants to drink wine, so he would need to make his own Barei Pri Geffen because he spoke. Okay. Number 7. The listener is exempt by all the brachas pronounced by reciter. Therefore, he may drink the wine without saying Barei Pri Geffen. Some, however, have a custom to recite their own Barei Pri Geffen. So basically, I mean, the halacha is very clear. So if somebody says Barei Pri Geffen during his kiddush, so I'm a listener, I want to be included in his kiddush. Of course, I'm included, so I don't usually, I'm not obligated to say my own blessing, but me personally, I always say, because for whatever reason, but it's not obligatory. Many people don't say, some say, so just pick yourself one custom and just follow that custom. Okay, so continue. Number 8. One who listened to a kiddush which has been recited in another room or even in another house. See chapter 11. Okay, we're going to. Oh no, we actually did it. Fulfill his obligation. This holds true only if both the person who makes a kiddush and the one who listened to is intended to discharge the obligation in this manner. So let's say there is an elderly lady, right, in a house, and she cannot come over to our family to join us for kiddush, and she asked me to have her in mind when I'm making kiddush, and let's say the windows are open and she can hear. She's in the next door, and her windows are also open, so there is no problem. So I can say very loud, I mean loud for her to hear. She answered amen, and that's it. She fulfilled her obligation of kiddush, so she can eat. No problem. So this distance, like separate buildings, do not make any difference. Okay, number 9. One who pauses in the middle of Shmona Esrei in order to listen to Kiddush being recited has fulfilled his obligation. However, he is not permitted to answer Amen at the completion of the Kiddush. Also, he must fulfill Kiddush b'makom seudah obligation immediately upon finishing the Shmona Esrei. Okay. So, in what situation? I would say maybe it's like if they have kiddush in a shul, like they say they have this meal in a shul, right? And this person came late, and I'm not sure, for whatever reason he does not want to make his own kiddush, or I don't know. Well, yes, let's say he does not want, or he cannot make his own kiddush. He does not know how to make his own kiddush. Okay, so he came late. He's still down in Shmona Esrei. Let's say they started without him, so he can during his Shmona Esrei he can pause, listen. So since it's short, so they allow us this guy to listen to the kiddush. Of course, he does not answer amen because it would be interruption for his Shmona Esrei, which is not proper. And then after he finished, so without further talking, he can go and eat, right? And there is no problem. Actually, he can even talk, like for as we said before, for the purposes of the meals. It's not going to be interruption. Okay. So in this case, the kiddush is valid for him because most likely the reciter had in mind to include everybody that in the room or everybody who listens. That's when I may make a kiddush, so I make sure that I have the intention to include everybody. Okay. Number 10. The listener should know the translation of the kiddush. If he does not, the Kiddush is valid provided he said it in Hebrew. Nevertheless, it is advisable to explain the meaning of the Kiddush to all those who are unfamiliar with Hebrew language. So there is tradition in some families. So they who are not familiar with Hebrew, so they say translation of the Kiddush before reciting the Kiddush itself. So, but when you say translation of the Kiddush, you gotta be very careful. And for example, you cannot say Borei Geffen in any language. I mean, in different language, because basically you can say blessings in any language, right? So it does not have to be Hebrew. So in this case, it would be blessing in vain. And same thing applied to the third paragraph, right? Since there are blessings in the third paragraph. So if you want to translate them, so just keep some words. If you want me to help you, let me know. So basically that this third paragraph would be incomplete. So even if you skip some words, Hashem's names and other things, that he's the king of the universe, right? So when you skip these parts, so basically your this recitation is not considered to be Kiddush, but it's good for translation, right? Because the explanation is that you can basically say Kiddush in any language. So if you want to say translation and in Hebrew, that's what you do. But if you want to say in any language, so you can just say read from your Siddur exact text, and you fulfill your obligation, right? But you must know. So what they say, you must know what you're saying. So meaning when you say in your own language, or you say even if you don't understand, you can say in Hebrew, and it's good. But you cannot say in any other language that you don't understand. So for example, you can read I don't know, you can read Spanish, right? You can read Spanish, but you did not understand what it means, whatever this Kiddush means, so you did not fulfill your obligation. But if you don't understand Hebrew and you said it in Hebrew, you fulfilled your obligation. Okay. So number 11, when Kiddush is recited in Hebrew, the style of pronunciation used is immaterial. For example, one who speaks Sephardic Hebrew may fulfill his obligation through the recital of someone who says it in Ashkenazic pronunciation and vice versa. So, and just add to this halacha, it's not always true. Like we learn in Igros Moshe that if I remember correctly, so he said that during the reading from the Torah, people are not yotze if the Balkore read with a different pronunciation that is Shul's pronunciation, right? So when they hire Balkore, it should be exactly the Shul pronunciation. If it's Ashkenazic, Sephardic, because it's like they must hear and understand the word. So I know from my experience, it's not always easy to follow. Like when you're trying to follow and you expect one word to be sounded to sound like this, and he pronounced his way, so it's confusing. But Reb Moshe said, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that I'm not sure if after the fact they fulfill the obligation or not. I don't remember, but definitely, and it is not the most preferable way. Okay. So number 3, part number 3, we say women and minors. Number 1, just as men may recite Kiddush for a woman, so too a woman may recite may exempt a man. However, if he is not a member of your family, it is considered impropriety for her to do so. Okay. So first thing that we have to explain in this halacha. So first of all, we have this tradition when you come from shul, so your family is waiting for you. So you wish them good Shabbos, and they answer you good Shabbos. So and it's not only like etiquette to be polite and stuff like that. It's also to bring you obligation of recital Kiddush on the same level. Meaning what? If I went to shul and I pray Shmona Esrei, and we said before, when you pray Shmona Esrei and you included all of these parts from Kiddush, so you fulfill your obligation on biblical level. There is no problem whatsoever. So the only part is missing on fulfilling obligation on rabbinical level. Now with women, so women are also obligated in recital of the Kiddush, as we said before. So they're also on a biblical level. So basically, my level of requirement is lower than her. Right? My is rabbinical, her is biblical. But when she answered Good Shabbos, so it's also acknowledgement of that today's special day. And she, in this case, she fulfilled her biblical obligation, and now we're on the same level. So I can basically, in this case, I can recite this blessing for her, included her, or she can recite this blessing, I mean the Kiddush, and include me. Okay, it's one thing that we have to explain. And second part, so it's not proper for a woman to say blessing in front of the man who is not member of your family, and for that matter is also speak in front of other men. So because of tznius issue, the man would look at the woman and hear her voice and maybe get the improper thoughts. Okay, that's why better not to do it. Continue. Number 2, a minor may never exempt the adult. This is true if the adult is even if the adult is unable to perform the mitzvah himself. So minor, basically, he's not obligated to do mitzvahs even on a rabbinical level, right? So if I came from shul, so this minor can, even my obligation was only rabbinical, but his obligation is only a custom, right? So he cannot include me. So he's not obligated in mitzvahs yet. Minor meaning boy before 13 and girl before 12. Continue. Number 3. An adult who cannot read the Kiddush and has only minor to assist him must make a Kiddush in the following manner. He should have a child to recite his own Kiddush aloud and repeat it word by word after him. It is preferable that adult holds his own cup of wine. So basically, so in this case, so the child read the Kiddush word by word. This adult repeats, and that's how adult is going to fulfill his obligation of Kiddush, which is I think it's a good solution. I mean, in the case of necessity. Okay. So number 4, a minor may exempt the second minor with Kiddush, provided that the one who makes Kiddush has not recited or heard the Kiddush himself. Okay, so kids can include each other. Doesn't matter what age, since under 12 and 13, right, for boys and for girls. So we said it does not make any difference. They still consider to be minors. Okay. So the part number 4, and it says laws regarding 12 and 13-year-old. And it says a 13-year-old male or 12-year-old female whose physical maturity is not clearly established. Okay, we spoke about it. Meaning that we do not know if they halachically adults. Right? May not recite Kiddush for adults who are not daven the Mariv. So basically, if they don't have this signs of physical maturity, which is 2 hairs, right? So so their obligation is only on a biblical level, so they're not considered to be adults 100%, right? So but if I daven Mariv, so my obligation is it's also rabbinical, so they can include me, right? If the adult daven Mariv, thereby having fulfilled the biblical obligation of Kiddush, the 12 or 13-year-old may exempt him. So this 12-year-old girl, she's a adult woman, right, in some sense. So at least even until it's established that she's mature. So she's on a rabbinical level of obligation and me, so she can include me. Okay, continue. So next chapter, in my book it's chapter 13, I'm not sure chapter in your book, but let's go by titles. So the title is the Kiddush in difficult circumstances. Okay, and part number 1, diluting wine. Okay, so if some does not have enough wine for 3 times, it is required for Shabbos, twice Kiddush and once of Havdalah. He may dilute wine which he has. Okay, so basically we need Friday night, Shabbos day, and for Havdalah. So okay. In Talmudic times, wines were so potent that they had to be diluted with the water before being served. A dilution of less than a 1/6 part of water to 1 part of wine was considered a wine mixture, while it's for both Kiddush and Havdalah. So we see, like from this ratio, you see like 6 parts of water to 1 part of wine. It was still considered to be wine. So of course our wines are also diluted. We're not sure how much, comparing to the biblical times. I'm not sure if they have such a strong wines because of the grapes, special grapes, or because I don't know. So but we know that wines are diluted. Today many commercial wines made in the United States and other countries have been already diluted, so they already add water. As a result, one must determine the wine-water ratio prior to the dilution, prior to diluting it further. So basically, if they already add water, so if I add too much water, so this beverage is not going to be considered wine. So maybe it smells like wine, it looks like wine, but it's not wine halachically. Okay. So according to Candle Company, the permissible dilution proportion for their wines are as follows: all wines are 1 part of water and 1 part of wine. So basically, as per Kedem, as it says here, so you can add 50% water, which is, I would say, which is a lot. Okay, and Concord grape juice, 2 parts of water to 1 part of wine. Okay, which means they're more concentrated. Okay. So all right. So if you have only a little wine, and with this dilution, let's say, helps, that's what you should do. Part number 2, wine substitutes. If one has no wine on Friday night Kiddush, he should make Kiddush over bread, challah. If one has no bread either, he should use Hamar Medina beverage. Okay, so see below, we're going to explain what Hamar Medina. So basically we say here, so it's proper, the most preferable way is to do Friday night Kiddush on wine. If he does not have wine, so he does it on bread. He does not have bread, he does on Hamar Medina, and we explained before that Hamar Medina is like beverage of the country. So in America it would be beer or whiskey or orange juice or coffee, tea, and stuff like that. Okay. So meaning that it's a respectable drink that you can invite your neighbor or your friend over, right? So people say let's get a cup of coffee, which is like a respectable drink. Okay, so continue. Number 2, a person who has only 2 minimum measures of wine, even after diluting it, should use it for a Friday night Kiddush and one other for Havdalah, and use bread during the day, by day. Okay, so now, so here's like a present situation. So he has only two measures of wine, right? So he does it for Friday night. So first he uses the first measure for Friday night because, as we said before, it's a biblical obligation. And second measure he is doing for Havdalah, because when we going to get to Havdalah, we're going to say that Havdalah you cannot do over the bread. Havdalah you can do only on beverage, right? It's whether wine or this Hamar Medina, which is beverage of the country, right? And but Kiddush during the day you can do on any three of them, but of course preferable is the wine. Okay, so continue. However, if he has Hamar Medina, he should use it for Havdalah and use the wine for both Kiddush Friday night and during the Shabbos morning, which is may make sense. So if he has this beverage of the country, he has this beer, let's say, right? So he should do Havdalah on beer. And since the Shabbos is more important than this Havdalah, so Kiddushim are more important than this Havdalah, so he uses it for wine for Friday night and Shabbos day, and Hamar Medina, this beer or whiskey or this orange juice, he uses for Havdalah. Okay, 3. If he only has one revi'is, he must set it aside for Havdalah and utilize the bread for Kiddush. So now, as we said before, that for Havdalah you can do if he has, I think here they say if he does not have Hamar Medina, right? So he has only bread and one revi'is of wine. So in this case, he would say set aside for Havdalah wine because that's the only thing he can do Havdalah over, and use bread for Kiddushin. If he has Hamar Medina beverage, he should use it for Havdalah and use wine for Friday night. So we said only if he has one portion of wine. So he used the wine for if he has Hamar Medina. So he use wine for Friday night, as we said, because it's biblical. Hamar Medina for what is it for Havdalah, and just one second, Havdalah Friday night Kiddush, and bread over the daytime Kiddush. Okay, so bread for daytime Kiddush. On Shabbos morning, if he has no wine, he should use Hamar Medina, but as a last resort, he may use bread. So basically on Shabbos morning, so they said that the bread, but let's say he has enough Hamar Medina, enough this beer or whiskey, or orange juice or coffee, so he can preferable thing to do Kiddush on Shabbos day. Of course, it's wine. He does not have wine, so he does on Hamar Medina, and if he does not have Hamar Medina, he does it on bread. And the explanation is very simple because the bare minimum obligation of the Shabbos day Kiddush is Berepri Geffen, but since he does not have this wine, he would say it on bread, so it's not obvious that he does it as a way of Kiddush. Maybe it's just his meal. That's the explanation. But of course, we don't say just Berepri Geffen during the Shabbos day. We say all of this like 3 paragraphs or everything. Okay, continue. Number 4. If one does not have wine, bread or Hamar Medina, he does not recite the Kiddush. So if he, one more time, it's, for some people it's shocking, but it's like halacha is very straightforward. No wine, no bread, no Hamar Medina, don't make Kiddush. That's it. In such a case, he may rely on Kiddush, made it during Mariv, so whatever during his Shmona Esrei, before Shmona Esrei or Shmona Esrei, right? However, some authorities rule that one who expects to obtain wine, bread, or Hamar Medina later that night must delay his meal until midnight. Until midnight. If he is weak, he's not required to wait. I mean, the elderly person, midnight, he's going to fall asleep, right, and not to eat meal at all. So they allowed him to eat. Right? However, if he obtains something suitable for Kiddush anytime before the dawn, he must recite the Kiddush in kizayis of bread or cake. Okay. So then it says, if Kiddush was not recited the entire night, see chapter 7. and there in chapter 7, just to remind us, so we said that he can say the Friday night Kiddush basically until the end of the day of Shabbos. Okay, so part number 3, Hamar Medina. Number 1, Hamar Medina is defined a beverage that might serve to a guest to whom one wishes to show respect, and not merely for the purpose of quenching the thirst, so like water and other things. This may vary from country to country. Okay. Number 2, beer or liquor, for example, whiskey, brandy, are definitely considered Hamar Medina. Okay. When using whiskey as a Hamar Medina, one must pour into a cup that holds the revi and drink lolug maf of it. See chapter 10. Right? So lolug maf, whatever, like chick-full. Right? Some authorities rule that when using whiskey, a whiskey glass is permissible, and one need only drink the small amount. So there is such opinion about the whiskey glass, but I would say just go by the stricter opinion. First of all, better drink wine. If he cannot drink wine, so they're drinking enough whiskey. That's it. Right? Don't go by linear opinion. Note the following beverage is considered Hamar Medina only according to some authorities. Therefore, when using Hamar Medina, one should preferably use beer or whiskey. Okay, so basically not everybody agree. So here's the list. These are the list of in random and not in order of the preference. Okay, so A is a milk, B is orange juice, C is apple juice, D is soda, so Coca-Cola, no problem. E is tea, and F is coffee. So on all of this you can make a kiddush, right? When using a hot tea or coffee, one must make sure to drink mloluk maf within the same amount of time, and which wine must be consumed during the kiddush of Havdalah. So basically, they're saying it doesn't matter if you drink this coffee. So make sure that it's not hot, right? So if it's hot or tea hot, you would not be able to drink in an appropriate amount of time. So make sure that you cool it down, and then you can drink. So then you can start your kiddush or your havdalah. Part number 4, Shabbos food priorities. One who is destitute or otherwise unable to purchase all of the necessities for Shabbos should follow these guidelines. Okay, what are the guidelines? A. First, he should purchase challah for Friday night and Shabbos morning. The challah can also be used for kiddush. So basically, if he has a very limited amount of resources, so buy challah. So on challah you can make kiddush, and you can use them during the meal. So that's the first priority for Friday night and Shabbos day. Then B, if he still has money left, he should buy wine for Havdalah. So because, as we said, there's only few things that you can make Havdalah over. Then the wine of Friday night Kiddush, and finally the wine for Shabbos morning Kiddush. Okay, so Friday night, as we said, it has priority. Then you can do for Friday for Shabbos morning. And the last one, C, if he still has money remained, he should purchase additional food, fish, etc. Right, for Shabbos morning, and with because on Shabbos we have like bigger meal, and with whatever money remain, the additional foods for Friday night meal. Okay. So, and we get to the next paragraph. In my book, it's number 14, but we go by, as we said, by the title. So, title is the Lechem Mishnah. So, Lechem Mishnah is two challahs, basically, two breads. Okay. So it says one of the daily miracles that HaShem performed for the Jews during the 40 years in the wilderness was to give them manna each day. Okay. The manna descended from heaven each morning to provide all-day sustenance. On Shabbos morning, however, no manna fell. Instead, twice as usual daily ration fell on Friday, half of which was set aside for Shabbos. So we know the story. That was in the beginning of our classes. So we say a little, elaborate on it. So on Friday night, on Friday morning fell double portion, right? Once on Friday, whatever people need to eat for Friday, and second portion for Shabbos. As a remembrance of the double portion, we begin Shabbos meal with the 2 loaves of challah, or bread, or rolls, buns, matzahs, etc. You can do with pita, whatever you make in kiddush, whatever you use it, but it has to be 2. So, and they not necessarily should be big. As they say, you can be like on the rolls and buns. Okay. So these 2 loaves are known as Lechem Mishnah. Okay. So number 1, who is obligated? All men, women, children old enough to be trained in the mitzvahs, obligated to begin the meal with Lechem Mishnah. So when one person makes the bracha over the challah for everyone else, his Lechem Mishnah suffices for all of them. See below. So basically, if I say, so not everybody is obligated to have 2 breads. One person is enough. So I said, blessing chamotzi. I had two breads, and let's say we're not obligated even to cut 2 breads. We can cut from 1 bread, right? And let's say leave the second loaf for tomorrow. Okay, there is no problem. So number 2, whole loaves. One must use the complete loaves, challahs, for Lechem Mishnah. So it's respectable. It's better to have them smaller size but whole than bigger and cut. That's the bottom line. Number 2, loaf is considered whole, even if it has a split or crack, provided that one lifts the challah by the weaker section. The loaf does not break into. So basically, maybe somebody, I don't know, somebody squashed it. Maybe child was playing with the bread. Okay, so if you can lift it up by the smaller, weaker side of the loaf and does not break, so it's considered to be complete loaf. Okay. Number 3, loaves that become attached during the baking may be separated and are not considered and still considered whole for the purpose of Lechem Mishnah. So basically, if she bakes like several challahs and many challahs next to each other, so of course they expand a little, so they can touch each other, they can bake into each other together, so there is no problem. So you just separate, and for our halakhic purposes, they consider to be separate loaves, even though when you took them out of the oven, they were attached. Okay. Number 4, a partially burnt loaf whose burnt portion has not yet been cut off is considered whole. So if as for sure this loaf was burnt, so don't rush to cut off this burnt piece, right, and throw this out. So you can steal it as a second loaf, for example, right? So, and it's completed whole. It's considered to be whole before. So do not cut basically the bad stuff yet. Cut off. Okay, number 5. A broken loaf is still considered whole, according to some authorities, if the amount is missing is less than 1/48 of the entire loaf. So, well, one example, I have one of the students. He has a little child, and this child sometimes can bite off. He likes the challah so much, so sometimes he can bite off a little piece. Okay, he's a little boy, but according to this opinion, so if it's less than 1/48, so usually it does. It is. I mean, so there is no problem. It's considered to be a whole loaf. Okay. Part number 3. Alternatives when lacking two loaves, two whole challahs. So for whatever reason, they don't have complete challahs. One who does not have 2 whole loaves should fulfill the lechem mishnah obligation with a whole loaf together with 1 cut. Okay. So he has one, let's say, I don't know, maybe Shabbos day, right? So he has 1 complete loaf and 1 cut, so there is no problem, right? I mean, it preferably do it on 2 complete loaves, but that's what he does. That's it. That's what he do. Okay. So number 2, if there is a second loaf, but it has been cut in half, one may join 2 matching sections together in a fashion to fashion a whole loaf. By inserting an inconspicuous object, for example, toothpicks, to hold the 2 halves together and give appearance of the whole, challah, while making the bracha. This would not be permitted if 3 segments of the challah. So I'm not sure why, what happened, but for some reason they cut these loaves, this challah in two halves for whatever reason. So now as author suggests, they can connect it together with toothpicks, and so it looks like the complete loaf, and he can use this as a second loaf, no problem. Number 3. The whole loaves, and if the whole loaves are not available, he should use 2 cut or 2 broken pieces. So, and I just add to it what it says here. So try to use the biggest pieces. So the bigger pieces, the more respect. Okay, I mean, if that's all you do, that's all you have. So that's all you have. So that's all. One who does not have challah or some other variety of the bread may use the 2 whole cakes, donuts, etc. In this case, the cakes is treated with the laws of pertaining to bread. Okay, so these things should be from the bread family. B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to discuss what bread family means. So, but cakes, they were baked in the oven. They have enough flour in there, so basically we can do we can use them instead of the challahs. Okay, almost done. Number 5, if one has only 1 challah, he must use whole cake for the second loaf. Okay, so basically he uses one challah and one cake. There is no problem. In such a case, he should partake of the cake too, besides eating from the challah. It's like in this case, I would say it's like some kind of an exception. Okay, so we can stop here.